Hey you guys, so Insidious is probably also one of your all-time favorite horror movies, and I think it should be. I mean, it had the right jump scares, a great story, and one of the most memorable and recognizable movie horror villains of all time. So let's take a closer look at him. So today we'll look at the main villain of not just the first Insidious movie, but from the entire series. And that is of course the unforgettable Darth Maul imposter, the red-faced demon. But what is he? What does he want, and how can you defeat him? We'll look at all those things today, but before we get into all that, let's quickly look at the first Insidious movie storyline so that we're all on the same page. Insidious is about the Lambert family. The parents, Renee and Josh, have 3 kids, one of which is named Dalton. He's the main character and has the ability of astral projection, which is basically having out-of-body experiences. However, when he's in the state of astral projection, he tends to travel to a mysterious place called the Further, where many demons and evil entities with bad intentions roam around. One day, Dalton has an accident in his house, where he falls, hits his head, and goes into a comatose-like state, which he just won't come out of no matter what the family tries. And the doctors have no solutions either. Even after months, Dalton is seemingly stuck in this coma and can't seem to wake up. Throughout the movie, we learn that the reason he can't wake up is because he's trapped in the Further, where he has been taken captive by the red-faced demon. The reasons for which aren't really made clear until the end. The evil entity is referred to as many different things in the Insidious movie series, such as Lipstick-Faced Demon, Red-Faced Demon, and Sixtas. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Sixtas.
But we'll just call him the demon for now. He is easily recognizable by his dark body and face, which are completely black, with his face having bright red sections all around. This hungry demon is the ruler of the Further, which is, as Elise explains, this dark purgatory in between Earth, Heaven, and Hell. And it's filled with a lot of tormented souls that died on Earth. And certain people have the gift of being able to visit this place while being in a relaxed or hypnotized state. But when you are finished roaming the Further, you must return to your body's physical location in real life to exit the Further. And it's here that the demon has Dalton trapped, so that he can use him to achieve his final objective, which is the same for all of the inhabitants of the Further. The goal of Lipstick Face is to invade people's bodies, making the host, so in this case Dalton, a lifeless vessel that is under his complete control. And that's essentially the end goal of this demon. He follows the steps to invade Dalton's body in order to control him, so that he can use his supernatural demonic powers to wreak havoc and cause much pain in the real world through Dalton's real-life body. But there is a catch. This process that he has to follow to possess Dalton takes really long, and it takes a lot of effort, which is why Dalton doesn't just become instantly possessed like in any other possession movie. This is reinforced when Josh, Dalton's father, sees some of his childhood pictures, where a demon comes closer one step at a time from pictures that are presumably taken days if not weeks apart. And I think it's this break in the pattern from so many other horror films that makes this movie so great. So throughout the entire time of his coma, Dalton's body is being slowly invaded by Sixtas, yes, even after more than a month. And the more time the demon has, the more control he has over his physical body. So even though the exact process of possessing children isn't exactly described, I believe that for the demon to possess someone fully, it is implied that he has to use his supernatural strength to mentally and physically torture its victims. And it's only after the painful torture that the final step of possession can take place. So the demon's powers build up to possession. And the demon targets children like Dalton for multiple reasons. The biggest one, of course, is that he can astral project. As we already discussed, that means that while Dalton is asleep, he enters the Further, which is ruled by this demon. Dalton is essentially on the demon's turf, where he has now access to him, without even knowing the incredibly evil intentions that he has. And this is what happens when he first falls into his coma after the accident. He enters the Further, and the demon takes advantage of Dalton's childlike innocence to lure him closer to him. And it's after that he lures his targets in that he no longer lets them leave, essentially kidnapping them and putting them in chains and keeping them in his creepy lair. With the kids tied up and unable to escape, he has all the time in the world to just invade their body because no one can interfere, because not everybody can just enter the Further and save them. So how does one exactly beat the demon? Well, the red-faced demon is actually the only villain that isn't defeated in the movies. He's only ever escaped from, but never actually killed. So maybe we'll officially get to see him beat in a new entry to the series, but for now let's discuss how the characters in the movie can overcome him. So in the film, it's actually pretty straightforward. Dalton is kidnapped by the red demon and is trapped in his lair, which sits behind the mysterious red door. So for Dalton to free himself of the demon, much like if this would have happened in real life, he has to escape the kidnapper's home and flee. Once he's out of the demon's home, he then has to find his way back to his own body without being caught by any of the evil spirits, the red demon, or his friend with the gelled back hair. It's sort of like a very high stakes version of playing tag with a home base, and lucky for Dalton, most of the dead spirits are about as slow as a bunch of 4-year-olds. And this is exactly what happens in the movie. Dalton's father rediscovers his ability of astral projection and comes into the further, beats up the guy with gel in his hair, frees Dalton from the chains, and they both essentially run away from the red-faced demon, returning to their own bodies and waking up. So he can't kill him, at least not yet. All we can do now is run. So that's all I got for this video, guys. The evil demon kidnaps kids in the further, tortures them while they're there, that way he can eventually possess their bodies back in the real world and cause a lot of damage with his powers. Anyways, Insidious is really one of my, if not my favorite horror movie of all time. It was also one of the first horror movies I watched. If you have any questions or objections, you can comment down below, and if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe or leave a like, or do both, if you feel especially generous. And I hope I see you guys in the next video, and thank you for watching.